Mark, you can't always control make or miss, obviously, but what did you make of the shots that you guys got from behind the three-point line?
Yeah, I mean, some are great, some were just okay. But the thing I was encouraged by offensively was I just thought we kind of looked like ourselves again stylistically. I actually thought we made pretty good progress in terms of attacks. You know, there was times in games 2, 3, 4 that it just felt like we were in a headlock offensively, and we were just like jammed up against their defense. And tonight I thought there was way more flow. I thought there was way more drive and kick. There was way more stuff that we want to get going. So it's taken us obviously a couple games in the series to like calibrate that. But I thought we were kind of there tonight and maybe missed a couple plays, maybe missed a couple shots, but I was actually pretty encouraged by the process tonight in terms of improving through the series. I thought we improved offensively tonight. I thought defensively we maybe took a little bit of a step back, and credit them. They did a great job.
The defensive stuff, does any of that fall into the category of Doncic getting more free tonight, or was he making more difficult shots similar to the ones that he has been getting?
Yeah, I mean, that's what's hard about, talented players. It's hard to hold them down game after game after game. So I thought he got it going, obviously, tonight, especially in the second half. But it wasn't like egregious breakdowns on that end. It was more little details that, we've been pretty tight on that we maybe weren't as tight on a couple possessions tonight. So the combination of that and then our offense struggling is what led to that.
Mark, just obviously you swapped Josh for Isaiah in the starting lineup. What went into that decision, and what did you like from that look, or what did you think of that look generally?
Yeah, I thought, first of all, it gave us a chance to, get back to some normal attacks on offense, shake the game up a little bit with the opponent, and try to generate some flow to start the game. I liked how we got off to the start offensively, especially. It also gets Josh second unit minutes where he can play make a little bit when Jalen, Shea, Chet, those guys are starting to stagger out of the lineup. So I actually thought it could benefit both units. We'll take a look at it and make the best decisions for Game 6, but that's what the gist of it was.
Yeah, and obviously, like round to round, the defenses are going to look different. I guess the looks that maybe Jalen and Chet would expect are going to be different. Just how much do you feel you maybe prepared them for what this round could have looked like in terms of the shots they would get that they usually do, and just how they would slip into those?
Yeah, I mean, Jalen and Chet are really good players, really important parts of our team. The thing I'll say, we're going through this. Obviously, it's our first playoff run. It's their first playoff run. So everything's a learning experience for everybody. The thing I'll say is, like, in the playoffs, because of the nature of it, you're, high stakes games, well scouted, same opponent, high level opponents. There's no player, regardless of where they are in their career, that doesn't struggle in the playoffs at different times throughout the course of a series. I think Doncic and Irving are a great example of that. I mean, they've had a hard time getting it going in the series until tonight, and they're as experienced as anybody. So we're going through it for the first time. We got to learn from it, but those guys are going to bounce back. They're really, really good players that we have a ton of confidence in, and we got to continue to work to try to find ways to get them, in rhythm and get them involved.
Yeah, Mark, better production in the paint tonight, but still not where you guys normally are. What do you feel like has been one of the major issues for you guys not being able to just get established there in the series?
Yeah, I mean, credit Dallas. I think they're doing a good job schematically of trying to slow that down. A lot of it is, Lively and Gafford being in there and just doing a good job of bumping, the low defenders out. We looked pretty hard at that the last couple days with the team and, modified a couple of our attacks that I actually think was pretty effective tonight. It maybe didn't yield a score or a clean play every time, but again, I thought watching the game, we kind of looked like ourselves offensively from at least a stylistic standpoint, like optically. Obviously, we didn't score 120 points tonight, so we would have liked to. But I did think we made progress, in the gaps between the last couple games on that end of the floor, and now we got to do that again as we go into Game 6.
And then, paraphrasing here, but earlier this season you said something along the lines about all open shots aren't created equal. How do you feel like the not being able to get established in the paint has affected you guys' shots, not shot selection, but like missing those shots because it's not you guys playing inside out like you normally are.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe in the other games that was the case. I thought tonight we were able to kind of generate some flow and some rhythm. There was way more possessions, again, that like we attack, ball sprayed out, driving kick, extra, maybe another attack, like our kind of normal flow. I thought we had a lot more plays like that tonight. And so that's what generates rhythm. And that's all we can control, is to continue to improve on both ends of the floor. So now we got to go back to the drawing board, make the tweaks defensively, obviously, and tighten the screws there. And then offensively, learn from the pictures and take another step forward. But I do think we're in the right direction there.
40 is a pretty good amount of three-point attempts for you guys. Probably even pass up another handful. But, I mean, it sounds like you liked what you guys got offensively. Do you think you could have taken more, should have taken less? Where are you at on that?
Yeah, I'm careful to say I loved a 92-point offensive night. But at the same time, I did feel like we were like bumping up against some hurdles there on the offensive end of the floor with the way they were playing us in the last 3 games. And I thought tonight, again, we were able to like find some cracks. Like we made them a little bit more uncomfortable. We had them in rotation a little bit more. We made them a little more late. The guys, I think, are learning through the series and recognize the right reads on a lot of plays. I think there's something to be desired there. We can take another step forward, but I wasn't like bursting with joy with 92 points. But I do think, like I said, we're on the right track in terms of how we're attacking, and now we just got to like continue to get that better and trust that good shots will fall.
You disrupted a couple of those lob slams late in the game, but the average fan's driving home saying, what in the world's going on with, 8 or 10 lob slams, it seemed. Well, what do you say?
Well, we never like lob slams, going down in the game. If it's in transition, we certainly don't like them in that part of the game where they're like outrunning us. That happened a couple times. I mean, those are the plays where you don't have a great shooting night that, your margins are really, really thin, and we've got to be better in that area of the game. But the other thing is like they've got a good team and good players that puts pressure on you and puts pressure on the backside of your defense. And so some of those are the cost of doing business over the course of 48 minutes. But, I thought, like I said, our offense took a little bit of a step forward tonight. From a process standpoint, our defense took a little bit of a step backwards.
Mark, the reasons you gave for making the change in the starting lineup seems like those could have applied earlier in the series. Why now? Why before this game did you decide to make that change?
At the end of the day, just like considering all the information before every single game and treating every game as its own life, I just wasn't comfortable doing it up until now. At the end of the day, I'm making a lot of different decisions. They're not all going to be right or wrong. I'm doing the best I can, but I thought it was the appropriate time to take a look at that. Mainly to try to, like I said, get us off to a little bit more of a rhythmic start offensively, and then also get Josh in more of a playmaking role where he could play to his identity in the second unit.
How do you think Josh kind of responded to that and played with that second unit?
Yeah, really well. I was impressed by him. He started every game of his career so far, I think. And so that's a very different feeling for him. He's never come off the bench. And I was kind of factoring in that he would be like calibrating, to a degree when he got out there, and that wasn't even the case. I thought he was like very much in character, obviously scored it, had his floater going, banged a 3, so had some good minutes for us there. So I was impressed by how he handled it.
You mentioned the razor-thin margins in the postseason. What's sort of the balance of like getting the guys to not settle, but also necessarily understand that a better shot might not come just with how great the Mavs have been defensively?
Yeah, I think that's, we try to work on that throughout the course of the season as well, and build confidence in the team to take the types of shots we're trying to generate. In the postseason, there's a little bit more prep, a little bit more physicality. The closeouts are a little harder. It's just the nature of this time of year. I think that's why you see the scores, down where they are right now in most games, certainly in this series for us and them. So, we just got to kind of get used to that. But I thought, like I said, offensively, we took a step in the right direction tonight.
Thank you, Coach.
All right. Thanks.